You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly pop and geek culture show covering movies, TV, games, and comics.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that hopefully doesn't get replaced with AI. I'm Josh.
I'm SamBot9000.
I'm Cody.
We have a great show for you this week. Thank you all for tuning in. We have a bunch of news to go over this week, but first, let's talk about some things we have been checking out.
Check it out!
Yabble dabble.
Yeah, yabble dabble. There we go. Yes. All right, so let's get into some things we've been doing this week. Not exactly the nerdiest thing, but I went down to a Blue Jackets game.
Hey, hockey's
over the weekend.
Hockey's nerdy.
Hockey's great.
Sports.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been to a Blue Jackets game?
No.
Nope.
But
Man.
I would go to one.
Oh, man. They are so much fun. Even if you know zero about the sport, it's moves very quickly. And there's so many like commercial breaks and stuff where they do fun, goofy stuff. It's
the stuff that the people on the TV are watching it don't ever see.
right. Yeah, exactly. And it's just a blast. It was a lot of fun. We watched the. Unfortunately, they lost. The Wild beat them, but in overtime, so it was a really good game. Our tickets were pretty good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Me and Nicole have talked about going to a Jackets game. We just never do.
Don't think that you have to get something like lower bowl or anything like that. You can sit in the nosebleeds. The Nationwide Arena is designed in a way that there is not a bad seat in the house. I actually prefer sitting up on the second level, the upper deck, because you get to see the entire ice and everything. And
Love upper decking the.
I love upper decking.
Nationwide Arena.
That's my favorite thing to do. Thank you, Cody. But no, it is a lot of fun, and there's they actually have a lot of independent vendors in there for like food and stuff like that.
Okay.
So you can get all kinds of weird food, and I think Brewdog Brewery has their own stand in there, so you can get like halfway decent beers and stuff like that. I mean, at exorbitant prices.
Well, of course,
because it's a national sports team. But
you're at a place to do something else.
Yeah,
let's jack up that price.
Exactly.
It's like going to a concert.
You can't bring in outside food. You can only get it here.
You can only get it here, and you have to pay $15.
And when you're here, you're family.
Yeah. But it really is a lot of fun. You really get into it with, there was the Blue Jackets, even though they lost, one of their players had a hat trick, and people threw their hats onto the ice.
Nice.
As is tradition when you score 3 goals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad the old ways are still alive.
Oh, yeah.
Not bringing in outside food made me think of that Nathan For You, where he built that suit to hide chili in it.
Oh, yeah.
And then he started selling chili at the hockey game.
Oh, right, yeah.
Out of his suit. God, I love that show.
It's a good show.
His food coat.
Yeah. But no, that's pretty much all I've been doing other than the standard just... surviving, trolling around on YouTube, easy viewing stuff,
I read the first volume of the IDW Turtle stuff.
Oh, cool.
It's like the first handful of issues plus the mini issues that focused on individual turtles.
Yes. So it's been a long time since I've read those. I've been collecting that series
since the beginning.
Since the beginning, I've been getting the single issues. So it's been it's been probably 5 or 6 years since I've read the first handful.
It ends with them with their first confrontation with like actual Shredder.
Yeah.
And Karai and the rest of the Foot.
Right, because Shredder wasn't their first nemesis.
Nope, it's technically Baxter Stockman
and Hob.
And an old Hob,
yeah,
the cat.
The cat.
And they're tangentially working for Krang.
Right.
Though I'm not sure if Baxter Stockman fully realizes what Krang is.
Probably. I don't think he knows at that point. He does find out eventually.
Well, yeah, but he definitely wears a disguise when he talks to Stockman.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's
his like Zippy the Pinhead costume from the cartoon.
His Brian Posehn costume.
I I mean, his robot body kind of looks like that, but he like covers it up with like an overcoat and a beret because he's General Krang.
General Krang, yes.
With his rock soldiers.
His granite soldiers. Yeah. No, that series is really good. There's a point where it kind of starts to go over the edge a little bit. They introduce Japanese mysticism pretty hard and heavy at one point. I mean,
it's already there in the beginning with the whole reincarnation stuff.
Thing, but it gets even deeper. At one point, Shredder teams up with a kitsune. And she is like causing dark magic mischief for him.
I mean,
and now there's the current story arc deals with a section of New York that has been terraformed or DNA bombed into Mutant Town, where there's just people that have just been turned into mutants.
I mean, that tracks. That pretty much tracks for a Ninja Turtles storyline.
Yeah, but it's really good. I hope you keep up with it.
I plan on it. I do like it. It's nice. It is refreshing to everybody knows the story of the Turtles. I mean,
yeah,
but seeing a slightly different take on it is not bad.
It's a nice melding of the different
canons,
because it has some of the grittiness of the
Mirage
of the Mirage stuff. It has some of the
fun of the 80s
stuff. It has some of the edgelordiness of the 2007 series or 2004 series. It mixes from about 3 or 4 different places. It takes a bunch of mutants that were only action figures from the 80s line that they never made it to the show, but they were like Mondo Gecko is
Mutoid Man.
The mutagenic man is one of them.
Those weird ones. Yeah.
They end up being minor characters, and there's actually a Mutanimals spin-off book that has been following Hob and his team of Mutanimals, including a crab that uses a dumpster as its shell and talks like R. Lee Emery from Full Metal Jacket.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And Mondo Gecko and the Mutagenic Man and a bunch of others. Yeah.
It's not bad.
Pete the Pigeon they actually pull in Pete the Pigeon from the 3D animated show.
Oh, okay.
And he's like
that Nickelodeon one. The first Nickelodeon one.
And his whole thing was he was Hobbs' first attempt to make his own mutants for his team, and the ooze wasn't right. So he could speak like a human, but he still has the attention span and basically the brain of a regular pigeon.
See, I was kind of curious because the end of the book I have, it almost seemed like Baxter Stockman killed Hob.
No, he gets better.
Okay.
He gets better and teams up with Slash, who they do some stuff with Slash that makes Slash maybe one of my favorite characters in that book.
Okay.
He's almost an unofficial 6th or possibly 7th turtle.
I mean, the phone game Splintered Fate kind of somewhat touches on that, because in that storyline of that game, you're kind of going through, which by the way, it's not a bad game actually. If you have like Apple Arcade, it's a decent pickup. But I more recommend playing it with a controller rather than with the on-screen phone controls.
Sure.
But it is fully controller supported game. Anyway.
Also, the new Sonic game on Apple Arcade is actually pretty good.
Oh, nice.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's a 3D platformer Sonic, and somehow they didn't mess it up real bad. So.
Hey, well, there you go.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. Wild the world we live in, right?
Yeah.
That the phone gets a better Sonic than
what was the last Superstars?
Superstars.
It was apparently not very good.
I thought Frontier was the last one.
No, there's a platformer one that came out after
that. They did a 2D platformer one.
With Rouge the Bat was a playable character, right?
No.
Or wait, is that one's not out yet?
Rouge is in the Apple Arcade one.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, that's what I saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
I thought Frontiers was actually pretty okay. It wasn't that bad.
Okay. A lukewarm endorsement by Cody.
Yeah. That's about what it deserves. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was better than most of them are.
Yeah.
There has been a long line of bad Sonic games. Anyway, where was I? Leatherhead had captured Slash.
Okay, yeah.
And the dialogue with Slash seemed very familiar.
Okay.
When it came to talking to the turtles, and I'm like, okay. I mean, Slash has always kind of been a weird
halfway.
Sometimes he's an antagonist, sometimes he's with them. It's weird.
Yeah. They eventually, well, like I was saying with Pete the Pigeon.
Yeah.
That he had a inferior version of the ooze
That made Splinter. Yeah.
that made Pete the Pigeon.
Oh.
It was that made Slash as well, and
Okay.
they actually test a corrected version on Slash, and it gives him intelligence.
Oh, okay.
So he goes from the kind of lunk-headed blind rage type character to almost like a philosopher type character who's
Okay.
just also just huge.
Okay.
And he doesn't team specifically with the turtles, but he is, I guess it would be chaotic good if you were playing D&D, where he's going to do what he feels is the right thing. He's a hero, he's a good character, but he's willing to break
He's ready to
laws
step
and
over some
rules,
lines. Yeah.
step over some laws to do what he feels is the correct choice.
I mean, that kind of is chaotic good. Yeah.
So
you're good, but you're not exactly letter of the law good.
he's Raphael, but the next step, kinda.
I mean, Raph in this book definitely has like a whole chip on it. Well, at the beginning,
Well,
anyway.
sure.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is like the timeline is weird because from the point they get doused with the mutagen to the point where they're like running around looking for missing Raphael, it's only been a matter of a few months.
Right.
It's been like a little over a year.
Because the turtles, they explained that the turtles were teenaged turtles when they were doused.
Oh.
So they are turned into humanoid turtles, but they are at the same age that they were when they were
Okay.
in the tank.
I will say that the IDW Splinter, like the way they write him, is definitely a lot softer than the last Ronin Splinter.
Sure. That changes.
Oh, I'm sure.
That changes.
Because like this Splinter, like the IDW Splinter is definitely like, I took lots of lives, back when I was a man in feudal Japan, and I'm trying to be a better person now.
Yeah, and then he takes over the Foot Clan.
He
becomes the Chunin of the Foot Clan after Shredder's gone, and
I like the mutant mayhem Splinter the best.
Oh yeah,
where he's just a goofy dad.
Just goofy dad who learned kung fu from a book
or from VHS tapes.
Oh yeah.
I
I mean, I will say that the mutant mayhem is probably the biggest deviation from the storyline.
But that's fine.
Well, no, like I said, I'm all for newer interpretations. Like, I have yet to consume Ninja Turtle media that I fully hated. Don't get me wrong, Next Mutation was rough. That live action TV show.
Oh, I know.
That is a rough show. Really, really bad.
Speaking of Next Mutation, they do something with Venus de Milo in this comic series.
Yeah, I remember.
It's going to be about 100 issues before you get to her.
Well, yeah.
But they do something with her that actually is interesting.
Redeeming?
Yes and no. I mean, redeeming's kind of a strong word, I would say.
Well,
it makes sense. It's enough of a twist on the character to make it not just, secret fifth turtle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when they were talking about bringing her back, and I was like, I thought Eastman had stated he'd never recognized that character, and yet he works on the IDW stuff.
He does, and well, again, if you get to it, again, it's going to be like 100 issues from now.
Yeah.
And she's not prominent; she's a minor character. She had like 2 or 3 issues that introduced the character, and that's about it. But what they do make it very compelling.
Well, it definitely feels like Janeka is more of will be more of a more prominent character when I get there.
Yeah. Again, she doesn't show up for about
a while,
50 or 60 issues.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like Raph and Casey's like dynamic with each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice that Casey was kind of like brought in from the beginning as an unofficial brother kind of in a way.
Yes.
Through Raphael.
Yes. Some really good stuff with them.
Oh yeah,
sure.
like the whole the whole kind of fleshing out and changing everybody's stories a little bit. I even liked the little mini comic stories where they focused on one turtle for a story.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the four that I read were pretty good.
They're very good.
I really liked the Michelangelo one and the Donatello one. Of the four, I think those two were probably my favorite. Mm-hmm. Where Donatello goes to a science show and meets a guy that he had a beef with online. They didn't know about it, about each other.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And then Michelangelo wanting to go to a New Year's Eve party.
Yes.
And crashes like a costume party.
Yeah, he crashes a costume party. Yeah.
That also is somebody is stealing a orb or stealing a thing for possibly Shredder or possibly for Stockman.
Something like that.
I can't remember.
Yeah. They actually do a lot of really interesting, Michelangelo's really the heart of the team.
Whoa.
Like, he's not just the dumb, goofy
Party dude
like in so many different versions of the media.
Oh.
He's actually really, really strong character.
So in the Donatello issue, Donatello's screen name for this like tech forum he's on or whatever is Does Machines 84.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good
one.
joke.
Yeah.
I like that
Yep.
one.
Yep. The guy he has beef with online was like an older guy.
Yeah, he's an old scientist.
He
looks
shows
kind of
up-
like a hippie.
He actually shows up multiple times.
I'm sure. It definitely
Yeah.
felt like they were building him up to be something more.
Yeah. He becomes a pretty, I mean, he always stays pretty angry.
Well, yeah, he definitely seems antagonistic.
Think Peter Capaldi as
nice.
a techno guy.
Yeah,
that is just like he just hates people for the most part.
Yeah,
and
well,
begrudgingly like helps out the turtles, kind of.
well,
Or it's more like he likes them, but
he got respect for Donatello during their whole beef at the expo because Stockman was trying to recruit the guy too.
Yeah.
But then Donatello kind of reaches him like, do you think he's really going to share like knowledge or glory with you? He's basically Thomas Edison, kind of thing.
I wish we would have got better Capaldi Doctor Who episodes.
Yeah.
And Whitaker. I wish the last 3 or 4 series of Doctor Who were good.
I've heard that they are not the strongest.
I watched the first of the new specials with when David Tennant comes back.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. The one I saw, it was excellent.
I heard it's pretty good.
And I'm like, I don't know what they're doing that's so much better, and it makes me feel weird about not liking the other ones just because they brought the one guy back.
Yeah,
But-
Russell T Davies came back.
Yeah.
So
That's all it needed.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well, he was the golden age of New Who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, most Doctor Who fans cite
Cindy knew who?
Shut up.
Cindy Lou Who.
Boo this man, boo.
But like the Doctor and Donna back up to,
Shenanigans,
and it's good. And like, I need to watch the rest of it and
also,
get caught up.
it was
but-
the last thing that the guy who plays Donna's grandfather did before he passed.
Oh, Wilt.
Wilt. Yeah.
Such a wholesome character.
Yeah.
Man, the whole Dr. Donna thing was like, that whole part was like when I was watching Doctor Who pretty regularly. That always got me like right in the emotional spot.
Donna is my favorite companion.
Oh yeah, mine too. Easily. I liked it that they wrote her to the point where she wasn't like this lovesick, puppy following the Doctor around like the last couple were, especially Martha Jones. Oh God, I did not like Martha Jones at all. Like her whole thing of like being like jealous over Rose, even though she's never met Rose and doesn't know the history of Rose, but just because the Doctor keeps mentioning her all the time, she's like, "Oh, why am I not good enough?"
I think Clara was around way too long, too.
I liked Clara.
I liked Claire Oswald, but I think she outstayed her welcome by quite a bit.
Well, that and like their whole thing where they like basically shoehorned her into the Doctor Who multiverse basically as like a pinpoint or whatever. She kind of like influences everything since the beginning because of whatever weird power they gave her.
I like the TARDIS.
You mean
I think that box is neat.
You mean the human one that wore a dress that Matt Smith called sexy?
I like the TARDIS.
I like TARDIS.
Now you know how I felt during the Ninja Turtles
Hey, fair
portion
enough.
of the show.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
I like turtles. Let's see. I watched The Green Knight, the A24 movie.
Yeah.
It's one of them I've been meaning to get around to, and then I finally did.
I thought it looked cool when it was coming out.
Yeah, I did too, but I just didn't get to it until I saw it that it's on Prime the other day, and so we watched it. Really cool, like really, really cool. If you like
Arthurian legend
stuff, this is a very cool take on it. Things look like weirdly authentic too.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of Arthurian legend by way of El Topo.
Oh,
Like it's kind of like weird, like almost psychedelic at times.
nice.
And just like the costumes and the settings and
The stills
designs.
that I saw from the movie when it was coming out looked really fantastic.
It's all,
really well done.
It's all very, very cool.
Yeah.
and just an interesting story told in a visually appealing way.
Yeah, it feels like we haven't got anything like Arthurian in a long time. Like I know like the early 2000s was pretty hard on it. Like you had like the Merlin show. Well, that was kind of more late 90s, early 2000s. You had the Merlin show. And then you had that reimagining of the King Arthur story where they're all Romans with Keira Knightley as Guinevere.
Oh, yeah.
Guinevere in a box. Yeah.
This feels more authentic, but with its own twist on it, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
And then you had King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Or no, what was it? The animated one.
Yeah, with their football players.
For the football players.
Yeah. That Ronin Warriors ripoff.
Yeah. Sir Ram Man.
Yeah. Oh
that's
man.
just a He-Man character.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Ram Man is just a He-Man character.
And yet, also one of the Knights of the Round.
Yeah, like King Arthur was like the quarterback of the high school.
His name was Arthur Knight.
Yeah.
And he was the quarterback of the.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Isn't that Aquaman's real name?
It's Arthur. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, come on, DC man.
Oh, I'm having a blank.
We're gonna have to revoke.
Arthur Curry.
Arthur Curry.
Yeah. I was gonna say we're gonna have to revoke your nerd card.
right.
He's a little spicy.
Yeah.
Depending on how you make him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a definite recommend, I would say.
The Green Knight.
Yeah.
Tell you what, A24, they rarely miss.
Yeah.
That's true. That is
They
very
put out
true.
some really good stuff.
And even when it's one of their like not better ones, afterwards you're just kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen an A24 movie where I was like, well, that was awful.
sucked. Yeah.
And most of the time it's just like, eh.
I need to watch the Iron Claw. I've heard it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it
it's
just
still in
came
theaters.
out.
It's still in theaters.
It just came out.
Yeah. But
Man, I haven't seen a movie in theaters that wasn't a Marvel movie in a long time.
Same here. No, I take that back. I saw Oppenheimer and Barbie as the double.
Yeah, I think
The Barbenheimer.
Barbie was my last non-Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Other than that, my last movie was The Marvels.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I'm trying to even think about what the last movie I saw in theater was.
I want to see Godzilla minus one,
one,
but that's
yeah.
probably gonna be out of theaters sooner than later.
Oh, I think it's already out.
And-
I think it's already gone.
Boy, I want to see Boy and the Heron too.
I
the Heron.
have heard so many good things about that movie.
Yes, that's on my list. That's on my list as well.
Also, the fact that Robert Pattinson
Yeah, and
is
I
the
really-
English voice of that
I
bird.
really
Yep.
want to see the dub on that one too, because it sounds like they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Specifically, Robert Pattinson.
Oddly enough, yeah.
You know what? People give them a lot of gripe for being in like Twilight and that one minor character in Harry Potter.
So what? He
Yeah.
was a good. He's
a good actor. Like if you watch other stuff he does, like
Oh, yeah.
The Lighthouse is a solid weird movie.
Oh yeah, he was really good in The Lighthouse.
Was it
Another
Cosmopolitan?
Another A24 movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is that the Cosmopolitan? That's the one with where it was like he was filmed in the back of a limo for almost the whole thing. It's like this weird.
Oh yeah, he definitely did a lot of artsy
Arts.
kind of.
Yeah. Well, when you make all your money as a teen heartthrob from 4 vampire movies when you're 17 through 22, you can afford to make whatever art
do whatever
films.
you want after that.
Yeah. Like,
Also,
he could quit acting and never have to do anything again.
I'm still gonna die on this hill. The Batman is a great movie.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, I like the Batman too.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would like the Batman, and I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a solid movie.
Yeah.
His suit is different enough. His world is different enough that I just really liked it.
Yeah, I went into that movie thinking that I was only seeing it so I could talk about it on the show, and then I ended up legitimately liking
enjoying
it.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it was right before all that shakeup at Warner Brothers, so who knows if we're ever going to get that Penguin series
Who knows?
or
Yeah.
anything else, because everything else they put out has bombed horribly.
Yeah.
I did want to watch Blue Beetle, and I know it's on Max, and it makes me sad that it came to Max so fast, but also I'm like, I do want to watch it.
Sure. Yeah.
Aquaman movie will probably show up here in a couple days.
Oh, yeah.
I know, right?
Aquaman will end up in the dollar bin here before too long.
Yeah, I heard it bombed real bad.
Yeah.
Flash bombed real bad, but also Flash deserved to bomb real
Yeah.
bad.
Well, we've gone over this many a time.
The only reason I wanted to watch it for any kind of enjoyment was just, Keaton.
Yeah. Sure.
I could cut out all the other Ezra Miller BS.
Yeah.
And the stupid multiverse sequence.
Oh yeah, with Nick Cage Superman fighting a giant alien spider.
And George Reeves Superman appearing at all.
At all.
Yeah.
Right.
And Superman not appearing in this film.
All right. Well, hey, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll get into some news.
Hi, I'm John Schnabel of the band 6 Miles to Nelly. My good friend Greg Dunham has a show here on WZMO, and it's called Long Play. He just plays full albums front to back. Now, I'll admit, I've never really listened to the show, but I'll tell you this. Anything Flash does is going to be first-rate, well done, and thought-provoking. I invite you to tune in on Friday nights at 11 and Saturday afternoons at 3. Check it out. I guarantee there's at least an outside chance that you may or may not find Long Play, at least at the minimum, somewhat enjoyable.
Hey everybody, we're back from the break here with some hot news. Hot news.
Hot. Piping hot.
Right out of the oven.
That's right. Oh, put your gloves on. This is so hot.
I just got done throwing it up and down in the air, and then I pulled it out with that little paddle.
Oh, there we go. I have one of those little paddles. Those things are great.
The pizza paddle?
I do. I have a
There
pizza
is
paddle.
actually a word for it.
A peel.
Yes, pizza peel.
Yeah. It makes getting pizzas out of the oven super easy.
Jordan Peele invented it.
He did. Yes.
That's absolutely true.
And we salute you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's talk about some things. We actually have quite a few here. Do we want to start with a happy one or a not happy one? Because there's a good mix of both.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's start with a trailer. Let's get an
Okay.
easy one out of the way. This one's kind of short. There's a trailer for a new horror comedy written by Diablo Cody and directed by Zelda Williams, Robin Williams' daughter, called Lisa Frankenstein.
Which is in the running for best movie title of the
It's
year
a good
already.
name. Yeah. And it is about, it's set in the bright neon 80s. A girl falls in love with
A corpse.
a corpse.
Well, like the idea of a guy
The idea of the guy
on a headstone.
headstone.
Yes. And then shenanigans happen, and it comes back as a zombie. And kinda.
Oh, Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. Kind of a
Like
Frankenstein.
the groaning, like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much the eating human flesh zombie type.
And mishaps ensue. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since we've got like a fun Diablo Cody movie.
Yes. I think the aesthetic of the neon 80s and kind of the interesting shot composition and stuff like that, I think it's going to lend really well for the movie.
Kind of like a John Hughes
Hughes-ish.
horror comedy.
I was almost going to say John Hughes meets Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that is a good summary.
Yeah.
That is really
That's
good.
what it really looks like.
With maybe a
And
little Evil Dead.
a little
in there.
Evil Dead in there. There were a couple of snap zooms. There were a couple of Sam Raimi shots in there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually going to check it out. Hopefully when
That
it's
was
in
definitely one I
theaters.
didn't know was coming. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard the name, but I didn't know anything about it. But we sat and watched the trailer before.
It's a
and
great day.
It's good.
It really
It's good stuff.
pegs the nostalgia from March
Absolutely.
from us.
Yep. Okay, so that was a good one. Not so good one. There's a George Carlin comedy special, and you're probably wondering, well, how can that be? George Carlin passed away
Like 10, 20 years ago. I don't know.
2006.
like a good 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was created with AI.
They fed all of George Carlin's material into an AI model, and then it crapped out.
It generated
Garbage.
an hour's worth of content, and they digitally recreated George Carlin to tell the jokes. And this was all done without the family's consent or knowledge. I refuse to watch this thing.
Yeah. I read the article. It was like done for a podcast that Will Sasso and somebody else is on, and like he should know better.
He should know. But he's a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
He should know better. First off, second, I love George Carlin's stand-up. Some of the most insightful, like the way he could turn a phrase, just one of the best. And if there was anyone on this planet that would have hated AI-generated content more than
Anyone,
it's George Carlin.
I mean, it speaks to everything George Carlin always hated. Like,
Yes.
it comes from such a place of like corporate mindless
Consumerist,
greed.
just
Yeah, it's like when people get mad. It's like when people get mad that the Rage Against the Machine was political.
Oh, yeah.
When it always has been, because
always
they're
has.
literally called what did you think the machine was?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a robot. It wasn't like evil robots.
Right. But like this is just gross. And to do it without the family's knowledge or consent. That's
Yeah, and the
That's
fact like
even worse.
Like Carlin's daughter like went to like Twitter like expressing her displeasure and how much this is just.
well, it's grounds for a lawsuit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I'm assuming there's no open invitation for rights or anything like that.
Especially when they present it as a comedy, like saying it's a George Carlin comedy special. Like that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even say, "Hey, we made an AI do this." Like they advertise it
as George Carlin.
Like. Yeah, the title gives you oh, they found some old footage or something and spliced together something we haven't seen.
Yeah. No.
Nope.
No.
No.
That makes me this makes me angry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
all this AI stuff is corporations trying to find a way to make stuff to sell without having to deal with those pesky creative people.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's something we've been crying from the rooftops since the beginning of all this kerfuffle.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong. Sometimes AI can be funny. Like I've watched videos of people using the voice AI to recreate, like, you know, politicians playing new Super Mario Brothers.
But you got to be careful with that stuff.
I know.
too.
No, trust me, I know. I'm just talking about from an entertainment factor. I'm not really talking about like the
best use,
the uggy of it, I guess.
the best use of AI, and this was one of the first things I'd ever done with an AI model, was that AI dungeon program where like it's basically a text adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Where the AI makes stuff up as you go, as you type stuff in. That was good.
Well, that's interesting because it's not aping off of the back of
Oh yeah, it's not. Yeah,
of a previously established work of art or person.
yeah,
It is creating things out of
Thin air.
Thin air. I mean, it's taking probably reference from
other thing like
Yeah.
Zork or something like that.
Yeah, but it's creating things out of thin air.
Yeah, it's not. It's trying to insert.
Pass itself off as something
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
Yeah, no, the minute that you try to pass off your AI art or your AI voice or anything like that as an original piece and not a procedurally generated thing, that's where the problem comes in.
I mean, it's like when I was at GalaxyCon and there was this one guy selling art that was just already established art slipped through like a filter, and he's printing them out on prints and just selling them.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Scummy.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
That's scummy.
I'm
Yeah,
glad
it's not cool.
I'm glad he was really far away from like the actual artist alley.
Well, you'd have to be, otherwise they would.
The artists would eat him alive.
Yes.
Yeah, nom. Yeah, it's like just and the fact that it feels like I can't scroll through anything anymore without getting bombarded with like
Some
AI art
garbage.
and I'm like, come on. And
I've seen so many Facebook posts recently that is a absolutely fake movie poster.
Oh,
Just so obviously fake, but the comments are full of people like, "Oh, I can't wait for this to come out."
I know. There was like a few Disney ones and Pixar ones like that, and people were like, "Oh, this looks so good." I'm like, people, we've had AI long enough now. You can just look at it.
You can spot it. You can see.
It's got like the shadows and the lighting. Everything follows a very same pattern
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah.
You can
So,
see it
like-
from a mile away right now.
Like, do some research. Like, also, don't believe a picture you saw on a Facebook post.
Take 2 seconds and think about it.
I'll have friends I'll have friends post stuff and I'm like this ain't real, it's AI, and they're just like, "Aw," and I'm like, it literally takes 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I have half an eye and I can see it.
Look at the hands.
Yeah, look at the hands. Much like WESTWORLD, look at the hands. Okay, let's talk about a happy thing. City of Heroes, the long dead MMO.
The original
is
superhero
back.
MMO.
Yeah, the better of the two.
Yeah.
2 or 3. Champions is not good.
They reached a deal with the fans made
Yes.
a deal with the original owners of the game to continue running it like legally.
with their blessing.
And develop new things for it.
Oh, really? I didn't see that part.
Yes, they're able to continue development for new
That's
classes
really
and new
cool.
things. Yeah,
because that was a really solid game, really solid MMO from back in the day when they still made those.
yeah. This is a rare instance when a game gets shut down and it goes basically underground and is grassroots run. When the owners of the IP find it, they don't immediately sue
Yeah.
or just or send a
or DMCA shutdown.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's like, I forget what the server's name is, but there is like one fan run server, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
It has the official seal now, and that's kind of awesome.
I miss when they would make MMOs and new MMOs would come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
City of Heroes Homecoming.
Homecoming. That's yes.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
I think if a company would put the resources behind making an actual, like, legitimate MMO, it would do pretty good now.
I think it
'Cause
would.
There's literally, like, all the competition is 20 years old at this point.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they don't really make MMOs anymore. At least not on, traditionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's 500,000 Korean and Chinese ones on the phone, but
And you'll get, like, stuff that's, like, small time, can't think of the word. Small instance style games that just aren't, like Destiny. It's like that.
yeah.
But it's still not the same as,
It's not the
as
same.
a World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I mean, Guild Wars was kind of like that back in the day too.
Yeah.
You had like your social hubs, but then when you went out into the game world itself, it was instance to you.
Well, at this point, it's kind of hard to compete with like the big ones like FF14 and
Which is so good. Final
yeah.
Fantasy 14 is so
there's
good.
a new expansion coming out, right?
Yes, excellent transition into another news article.
Thank you.
They just had like a fan fest thing where they announced the next expansion for Final Fantasy 14, Dawn Trail, which, a bunch of new content, new places, and two new classes. One was Viper, which was like two swords edgelord,
Okay, sure.
which fine.
Yeah.
The other was really cool. It was Pictomancer.
From
and
Final
it's-
Fantasy VI,
yeah,
right?
it's basically Realm from Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, man,
where
that's
they-
awesome.
They paint things into
reality.
Yeah.
That's excellent. That's cool. I'm curious to see how that would work out.
And even the design of the character looks like calls back to Realm from
Oh,
Final Fantasy VI.
fantastic.
Like she's got the little hat and the. It's a really cool pick. I
Cool.
hope someday we get geomancers that look like little dwarves.
Oh, that would be neat.
But no, and the other thing is there's a new race, and by new race is a new gender to an existing race.
Yeah.
The Rothgars, which were big lion guys, now there's big lion ladies
Gotcha. Okay.
with this expansion.
And I'm sure that's very popular for some people.
Yeah. I mean, there was already cat girls. Now there's buff lion ladies.
Well,
so
there you go.
everybody should be happy now.
Everybody can get some. There we go. Awesome.
All the boxes have been checked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so those were a couple of good things. Switching over to a bad thing. Looks like they might be finally releasing The Day the Clown Cried.
That's arguably not a bad thing. It's an interesting
It's a bad movie.
It's supposedly a very bad movie. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Jerry Lewis drama
Unfinished project, might
of
we add.
unfinished film is getting screened at some festival here. The first time it's being shown in like 50 some odd years.
Like 52 years.
52, something like that. Yeah.
I think he said when it's his 100th birthday, they're allowed to show it. So
that's what's coming up.
yeah.
And of course, I've never seen it. Hardly anyone's seen
Yeah,
it.
I was about to say.
Hank Azaria has seen it. I know that.
Yeah. And
And he said it was bad.
yeah. A clown during World War II at a
At a death camp.
death camp and stuff. That doesn't sound like.
It's just oofs all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see it though, because
I have a morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's
It's not going to be good.
No.
But it's one of those that you've heard forever that, there's this movie that no one's ever been allowed to see. And now you can see it. It's like that Wu-Tang Clan album that they only made one of.
That's
Mark Scarelli owned.
Yeah, that's barely a Wu-Tang album.
And now
too.
I think the
Yeah.
FBI has it.
Yeah, the FBI owns it.
When they seized all his assets.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's pick another good one. I like this bouncing back and forth.
Cult of the Lambs, a new expansion's coming out.
Oh, yeah. That's a quick
That's
kind
a
of
quick
thing.
one,
Yeah. So Cult of the Lamb is a fun little. It's a half roguelike dungeon crawler and half
simulator,
town sim, like Animal Crossing, kinda, sorta,
with a dark twist.
It almost has like almost a SimCity, feel
yeah,
to it.
Yeah, and they've been ever since the game came out. Now the game came out about 3/4 of the way finished. It had a lot of bugs. It had a lot of problems. They have since fixed those issues,
And it was just charming enough to still be very good, even
Even with the issues.
It had a
yeah.
very interesting Twitch integration. If for Twitch streamers that you can enter your screen name into a lottery automatically to become one of the people in your town or whatever. But they have put out like a couple of very small free DLC packs basically. But this first one is this is going to be the first major content update. They're adding a couple new weapons for the roguelike area and a lot of stuff for your town. It looks really cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I keep meaning to pick it up and play it.
It's constantly on sale.
Yeah, I know.
It's never not on sale.
Yeah. It was on big time on sale not too long ago, and there was a free demo.
I was down to like
Switch.
$10 at one point on Switch. Yeah.
I know that's when Samantha got it, when it was like $10, and after she played the demo.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's very you fall into the loop very quickly, and yeah. Okay, so what else do we have?
Do we want to go back to another bad one?
Yeah, let's bounce back to another bad one.
So, in continuing dark times for the tech industry side of things, more layoffs.
Yes, the layoffs did not stop when the year rolled over to 2024.
Yes. So Twitch laid
off 34% of their staff.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
And apparently, their CEO put out a live stream. And I guess the CEO of Twitch, he engages a lot with the community. Like, he plays a lot of games. He streams a lot of stuff on top
that makes sense being the CEO of Twitch.
Yeah.
You'd almost have to.
Well,
Yeah.
it's refreshing because the last CEO of Twitch didn't even know he was the CEO of Twitch. So, yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, but yeah, he talked about how Twitch is not financially viable at the moment. It is not turning a profit.
I feel as though that they're setting up some kind of sob story in order to, down the line, make a bunch of sweeping changes to basically screw over the content creators for their site.
Like they do every couple months, they do something that really hurts the people that actually do the work at Twitch that make you watch it.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
YouTube does the same thing.
Like, I would feel more compassion for the guy and for the company of Twitch if they hadn't just changed over their monetization from a 70-30 split to a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
50% going to the
Twitch.
to Twitch and 50 going to the creator, where it was 70%
To the creator.
30% to Twitch.
It seems like YouTube's becoming a more viable streaming platform as time goes on.
But then you have to
too.
deal with YouTube and their algorithm bots and
Everything else.
and dealing with Google,
Yeah.
which is a bigger thing. But much like, other streaming services or whatever, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Which is the big one.
What are you going to stream on Kick?
Yeah.
Yeah, because every other competitor for Twitch that's tried to step up has failed.
Has crashed.
What was that
Yeah.
Microsoft one?
Mixer.
Mixer.
Yeah. And like Ninja went to Mixer.
That was
after
a terrible name.
That was a bad name.
Yeah, after he tried, and they tried pushing that real
Although
hard.
Twitch is not a very good name either, really.
It's not.
Yeah, but Twitch used to be called something else. too.
Justin TV.
Yeah.
Which also is very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it definitely harked back to its edgy, cringy roots.
Its logo was like a monkey.
It was.
I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Back in the day, man, everything tech had some kind of monkey or something on it.
It's
It
true.
was, yeah.
I find myself watching more Twitch all of the time lately. I don't know.
I catch a Twitch stream every now and then, yeah. And it's cool.
The only time I do is when like either you're doing something.
Oh, yeah.
It fills that void that when you would watch TV and like didn't want to actually
out.
actively pick what was on.
Oh, sure.
Like,
yeah.
like that's kind of what the void Twitch feels for me. Like I can just put on somebody that like I like
Is doing random stuff,
or I
yeah.
can like tolerate listening to,
Sure.
and just throw that on and be good.
Yeah, and that's cool. That's cool. I think that's a good way to use it. Along with the Twitch layoffs, there was also a bunch of layoffs at Unity, the game dev
continuing
studio.
continuing to make Unity worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they at least threw out that CEO that had all those awful ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, they at least
Like-
got rid of him. But,
Yeah, that horrible monetization thing they were trying.
oh, yeah.
Or they're making everybody
Yeah.
who uses the engine to pay them
Yeah,
every time you use it.
Every time somebody plays a Unity game, it costs the developer money, which makes no sense
That makes
whatsoever.
no sense. Yeah. But no, they laid off. How many did they lay off? It was like
1,500.
1,500, something like that.
Yeah.
Which is a lot
That's
of people.
a lot of people.
The gaming industry has been hit with a lot of layoffs lately.
Yes.
Like,
Well,
a
I mean, it
lot.
wasn't. I mean, it's not just video gaming too, because Wizards
Oh, it's everywhere.
Wizards got rid of a lot of people right before Christmas.
It's almost like we're in a recession or
Yeah.
something. But no, I was listening to this topic being told on a different show, and they had mentioned compared to the amount of games industry layoffs in 2023, we have already hit 40% of that number in 2024, and we are barely into January.
Yep.
So, yes, the layoffs will continue until morale improves.
I started playing around with Unity the other day.
Oh yeah.
I was doing a 3D platformer tutorial. And,
Oh, nice.
It didn't turn out super great. I could not get the little bean 3D bean that I had made to jump.
Oh.
And if I would change direction on him too fast, it would fall over in 3D. Like the physics would kick in and the cylinder would just fall over.
Jeez.
And then the controls would be flipped to the direction that like it fell down.
Okay. See, that would actually make for an interesting game, though.
Almost
If you're-
like a Fall Guys kind of
Yeah.
thing.
You're like a little weeble wobble and you fall over, and now you have to try to
Right
change-
yourself.
Right yourself. Yeah.
But I need to spend more time with it. It was nice I haven't done any like actual solid programming in a long time, like typing stuff programming, and it
Yeah.
was kind of refreshing to do that, but
Yeah.
it's not as easy as
Yeah.
ClickTeam Fusion.
What programming language is it?
C#.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't programmed in C# in 15 years. It's been a long time. I took a couple of C# classes way back in the day, and yeah, I actually still think I have my books from that class, which is probably way out of date or whatever.
Oh, I'm
but,
sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Oh, we have time for one more and make it a good one.
Konami is bringing back some classic games.
Okay.
Yeah, they're doing 2 new packs of classic games. They're doing a Felix the Cat one.
Sure.
Which I wasn't aware that there was more than one Felix the Cat game, but apparently there is.
Yeah.
And they're doing a Rocket Knight pack, which is
Rocket Knight.
at least 3 Rocket Knight games, and they're all pretty good.
They're pretty good. That's the same thing as Sparkster, right?
Yes.
Sparkster
Okay.
is the Rocket Knight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a little possum with a jetpack.
With the jetpack and the
armor.
knight's costume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's awesome. I always liked Rocket Knight and Sparkster.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's good stuff. Konami, they're trying.
They're doing stuff.
They're doing something, and that's what counts.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I've heard that Metal Gear collection they put out is passable.
It is a way to play the games.
Yeah, as
from
long
what I
as you're not
understand.
playing it on the Switch, it's passable.
That
I mean,
sounds like
the
every
Switch.
game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I love
Yeah.
my Switch, but
Yeah, that sounds like every game that's not a Nintendo game,
yeah.
and which I had no intention of getting it on the Switch. But hey, that means you can get your Metal Gears on PC for the first time, like ever.
I got Mario Strikers Battle League the other day.
yeah.
I found it on clearance for $15.
Oh, that's a good price
which
for
is
it.
about what it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the demo came out, I did not like it.
I think it's good. I think there's a surprising amount of depth in the control and
it's
gameplay.
hard. It's hard. I think that's part of the reason why I didn't like it.
Like there's a lot of timing-based stuff that's really interesting. Like if you pass it to another player and then shoot right, like within a window of time, it'll do a more effective shot.
Oh,
So
interesting.
you can like combo that. You can combo passes, like,
Oh, that's cool.
and the character art and animation is like top-notch stuff.
It's like that scratchy style, isn't it? A little bit.
It kicks into that when you use a special move
Gotcha.
for a little bit. But
Okay.
other than
Yeah, it
that,
gets kind of comic-y with heavy lines.
It's done by Next Level Games,
Oh,
the
okay.
people who did Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah.
So it looks like that, which had fantastic character animation.
Yeah.
I wish they'd do another Mario Baseball.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say that Mario was it Super Slugger?
Super Sluggers,
Yeah. That
That was a solid
a
game.
Solid,
That was such a solid game.
Yeah.
I used to
and
play the crud out of that on the GameCube.
Same here.
Though it's kind of funny. I hopped on Mario Kart for the first time in a long time the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And I was on one of the newer tracks, and I drove through one of the Mario baseball stadiums. And I was
Oh,
like,
nice.
I was like, oh, and I got all nostalgic. I was like, oh, come on.
So those new tracks are good. And the Mario Kart.
yeah.
Yeah.
8.
Yeah, they pulled a bunch of the ones from like from
The
Tour.
the mobile game.
Yeah, they're really good. I like them. They're pretty solid.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I forgot. I used to be really good at Mario Kart, and I've been struggling to find my way again.
Oh yeah, I haven't played Mario Kart in a long time.
A lot of times, I accidentally drift the wrong direction,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, and then I start hitting the wall.
HoloLive had their big Mario Kart tournament with all the HoloLive girls playing, and like I cannot watch people play Mario Kart who are not good at it. It drives
Oh
me nuts.
sure. Yeah.
Don't watch me play. Don't watch me play.
All right, well, hey, we've actually hit time, so let's go ahead and wrap things up for the week. You have been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, or support our Patreon at Nerd Overload Now.
You can email us at staff@nerdoverload.com, and you can also give us a call on the Nerd Overload hotline. The number for that's 419-561-5556. Leave us a message and we might play it on the show.
Yeah, that's right. You can also find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and more. And finally, I'd like to thank Parker for helping us out finding news for the week, and David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
Pizza out.